What's going on, everyone? Welcome into GDT Live, presented by DraftKings. I'm Daeden Kamo, alongside me, Colton Davies, as always. But Colton, it's been a while. It's been a while since both of our schedules have kind of aligned, but we're back, and I'm ready to get this thing going. We've got Stefen Rosner with us today. He's an NHL beat writer for the New York Islanders. Obviously, you guys know that. He's been on before, so without further ado, let's bring him on and get things started here. Stefen, how's it going?
It's going good. I got to say, I love the music. The intro music, I was bumping. It was great. Thanks for having me, guys. Appreciate it.
That's good. That's
Always,
good.
Man.
I got some hate. I showed it to my mom. I was like, Mom, look at this intro. She was like, that's terrible music.
It's our age demographic, you know? We like that funky EDM kind of stuff. It's great.
Yeah.
Stefen, your rookie camp's going on. Matthew Schaefer is obviously making the headlines. What have you made of the new blue liner in Long Island?
Listen, I think the biggest thing for rookie camp is you want to see certain guys rise above the occasion and just truly stand out. And he has. I mean, he's going number one overall, so you expect that. But, you know, the maturity level we already know about this kid off the ice is top notch. But on the ice, he is standing out. He looks like, you know, a man against boys, not size-wise, just pace of play. His skinny, he blows by guys like it's nothing. The way he's able to walk the blue line like walking a dog, right? He's got head fakes. He's got skid stopping ability. He's so smart. He doesn't force things. So I think he's so mature off the ice, but so mature on the ice. He's coachable. That's one thing today Rocky Thompson talked about, is that he wasn't doing a drill correctly. And Rocky Thompson said, hey, I want your feet pointed that way. Boom. His feet are pointed that way. He does the drill right, and he's better because of it immediately. It's not a player that we've seen where, you know, coach has to tell him 5 or 6 times to fix something. He's very receptive to that stuff. And there's a reason why you go number one overall. You have to be receptive to the stuff that happens there. But yeah, he looks great. Everything he says is great, but you have to see him against NHLers. But so far, so good for the number one overall pick.
What are the vibes like at the rink? Are people there at training camp to see Schaefer and like Schaefer himself?
Yeah, so the way the Islanders are now under Matthew Darch is it's a lot more open. Today, I think with select season ticket holder members, tomorrow as well. The vibes are high. The vibes are immaculate. I think, you know, when you have a team that under Lou, and everything Lou did was for a reason, but when you know, cut the fans off in terms of their ability to watch, and then you have it open and you have the first overall pick, you got some cool free agents like Shabanov coming over. You get Druin in here and you open things up, and the vibes are just better. I think it's like a breath of fresh air, but people are there to watch Schaefer, but they're also there to watch some other guys. Calum Ritchie is a guy that's going to fight for Rossbart. Shabanov coming over from the KHL. You know, we didn't see him at development camp after the draft because he wasn't signed yet. Or he was signed actually during development camp, during their blue and white scrimmage. Mm-hmm. So it's an exciting time, and it's great to talk with these guys. And also, since we had development camp, you can see certain guys coming out of their shell a little bit more. They're used to Long Island a little bit. They're used to Rocky Thompson as being the coach. And now rookie camp's a chance for them to prove that they worked their tail off this summer and that they have taken those steps over these last 2 months.
And keeping on the topic of Schaefer for just another moment, you mentioned the drill and how he kind of fixed himself during that one. And I also saw another video, I believe you posted it as well, and he gave a puck to a young fan. What can you kind of just say about like Schaefer's personality? But I know before we kind of came on the air, we briefly chatted about him and just what an awesome guy he appears to be in all these interviews, but you've had interactions with him. What's he like?
He's a kid. Remember, he just turned 18 less than a week ago. And I think he understands the importance of building those bonds with the fan base. I mean, you saw him right after he got drafted, what it meant to be an Islander. You saw the way the fans reacted to him on Long Island during development camp, and he gave it right back. He loves it here. He said he loves Long Island. He understands why people don't leave. And I think, you know, he was a kid, you know, maybe less than other guys, like 10 plus years ago, where he was a kid waiting to get that puck. And I think he understands. And it goes back to the maturity. He knows it's bigger than him, but he knows that if he can make an impact on a day-to-day basis, whether it's on the ice, scoring a cool goal, pointing to a young fan, throwing a puck, or in the community, I know that he wants to get involved in a ton of charity and fundraisers. You all know this. I'll say it as well. But he lost his mom to cancer. He lost his billet mom a couple months prior to a suicide. Like he's gone through a lot, and he understands the ability where he can make an impact in so many different ways. And I think you're seeing it from day one. He's been like that. He's going to be a fan favorite. And, his ability to connect with not just adult fans, but the younger fans, the younger audience, get them excited to see Matthew Schaefer. He's going to grow over these next 15 plus years. And so is that kid. And that kid's never going to forget this day. He now is a lifelong fan. So I think it's really cool to see the way Schaefer's shown that understanding and just, again, talent off the ice, but he is an unreal human being off of it. And you see it on an everyday basis here.
Switching to Calum Ritchie, you talked a little bit about him, but this is a guy who comes over in the Brock Nelson trade. He's got some big shoes to fill, maybe in a sense of the word, I guess. But what have you kind of made of him? And does he have a legitimate shot here of making the team right out of camp? Because I know he made the Avalanche out of camp last year. So is there a pretty big shot here of Ritchie getting some ice time with the Islanders?
I think so. I think you started development camp. He looked more physically mature than everybody else. He's a big dude. He's got the size and he's got the IQ, and I think he's ready. The question is, are the Islanders going to have a spot to him? Now, with Barzal going back to center, having Pajot, having Cizikas, having Horvat, even had McLean there as a center, there isn't room. But Matthew Darch said on Jeff Marrick's show, The Sheet, that if Ritchie makes, he forces our hand, we're going to make a spot for him. And I think you see him. He's ready. There's no, if there was a league higher than the AHL, that's where he would play. But the next best league is the NHL. And I think he is ready. He's a major standout at this camp. The way he's able to move for such a big guy, I think is, it's why he was a top prospect of Colorado. That's why he made Colorado a camp. And I think going back to the OHL, when you get that taste of NHL hockey, and that pushes you even more. I asked him today about, does he feel more pressure knowing that, he's got to fight for a spot and he should be standing out. He goes, I've always had pressure myself. I want to be in the NHL this year. And I think if he doesn't make the NHL this year, he's going to be the number one call-up. But yeah, I would call him outside of Schaefer. Him and Shabanov are the other two guys that have been big standouts so far through 2 days.
You're muted.
Oh, see, Colton, I told you, it's been too long since I've done one of these shows, man. Stefen, I saw that clip of Shabanov. He was on the backhand, the one you posted, absolute beauty. What do you think his best asset is?
So, I think the goal was great, right? But I think it's how he was able to see the ice and then the quick move in the slot to get to that, to get to that back and move and be that wide open is from quick 1-2 and you're open. But I think his biggest asset is his skating. He is a small guy, 5'9". I think he's around 1. I have the sheet right here, actually. I could tell you if I could read it. He is 5'9", 167. Not a big dude at all. And I think in today's NHL, you got to be able to handle the physicality. And one thing that stood out is that he can handle that, but also the only way you get hit is if they can catch you, right? And I think what we're seeing right now is that maybe a guy like Maxim Siplikov, who came over last year, is that he's not the best skater. And the way he has to, put the skid stop on. He's got to make the quick move, the power skater power forward that Siplikov is. But for Shabanov, I don't think he has to be ultra creative to create time and space. His legs are going to do that for him. I think you're seeing at camp so far is off the rush, dangerous. It doesn't have to be crazy. He's backdoor passes, tapping things home, cutting to the slot. He just has that innate ability that few skaters have. Like, it's so early to gauge where he's going to be in the lineup and where he starts. But you look immediately like playing on the wing of a Barzal, having that creativity, but also the ability to just play on the ice and catch up to those guys. I think, see with the Islanders for a lot, especially Barzal, is he's the first one in the zone. He's got a skid stop, peel back along the half wall and make a play. You had a guy like Shabanov on his wing and you have 2-on-1s, 3-on-2s, just another guy that could be like him. So I think for Shabanov, we'll find out how to pronounce it soon. His skating is what is going to allow him to be a potential top sixer at the NHL level. And if he's in the bottom six in today's day and age in the NHL, you need speed and skill up and down your lineup. So if he's playing third line winger and has that ability off the rush to be a factor, this is a guy that's going to create havoc against the opposition because his wheels it's there. And that's why he's going to stick in the NHL if he makes it, which he will.
Keyshawn Aitchison. This is a guy that friend of the show, and I know you know him as well. Stephen Ellis is very, very high on, and Aitchison obviously is, 26 goals, I think it was last year in Barrie. What have you seen out of him so far at camp?
Yeah, so I think the one thing that we saw at development camp was obviously timing hits that's kind of his thing, but he's an offensive guy, and I thought, okay, the one thing he's really got to work on is his skating. That'll separate from him being a bottom pairing guy or a guy that could potentially be a second line guy. And so far through the first 2 days, he really impressed me today. Like you said, 26 goals with Barrie last year. He's decided to go back. That's where he said that's the best place for him. He spoke to me after camp. He's got a sick release. He really does. And he's able to put the puck where he wants to. He goes short side, goes far side, doesn't matter. But his skating looks even better than it did at development camp. I think confidence is a big thing. You're nervous. And also they had some physical drills today. And he's not a guy that's just a hitter. I think, you get locked into watching the highlight reels of certain guys and say, okay, that's all they do. Like, for example, Schaefer, offensive guy. Schaefer's a guy that's out there in the final minute to block a big shot to win a game. You look at Aitchison, and he's a guy that he'll throw the hits, but he's smart enough to know when to do it and get up the ice. I think that's one thing he's shown so far is he could do a lot of different things. So yeah, I was really impressed by Aitchison specifically today because he has a shot, and if he could use that and also be that physical guy, that's kind of the way the Islanders, whether it's this year, which is not going to be for Aitchison, but down the line, they're trying to mold those guys into being those physical, hard-nosed players, but also having the offensive capability to produce, whether it's off the rush, at the point, things like that. I think he's done well so far through 2 days.
Stefen, you've got a one-on-one with Kashan Aitchison coming out. Do you want to give that a quick plug and tell everyone where they can find it tomorrow?
Yeah, that'll be at the Hockey News tomorrow morning. I spoke to Aitchison and said, listen, rookie camp, what have you worked on? What about your game? We talked about his OHL suspension. He got suspended 3 preseason games and what went into that. So I'll put that as a little sneak peek there. Is pretty much he's standing up for a teammate. And again, you look at the way the Islanders draft, that's the kind of people they want in this organization. I'm not saying they'll take a worse player talent-wise because they're better people off the ice, but you're getting a person and a player, and the Islanders love to get the person that fits the player and the style and the leadership. Look at a guy like Matthew Maggio, 4th-round pick. He was a captain for Windsor. Right? That's a huge thing. Schaefer. Could Michael Misa have been the guy? I'm not saying Michael Misa is not a good leader at all, but I think when the Islanders spoke to Schaefer, it was, all right, close the book. Let's get right to the draft because this is the guy that's going to be our leader on and off the ice. Maggio is doing the same thing here. Other guys as well. So Kashan Aitchison's a guy that's going to be a fan favorite. I do believe that, and I think he'll make it in the NHL at some point. Question is, how high on the depth charts on the blue line is he going to be? That's ultimately going to be up to him and taking advantage of the opportunity. But yeah, great kid to talk to, very humble, a little quiet, which is funny because he's not on the ice. So I think it's really cool to see the kind of player the kind of person that he is when you take the helmet off.
Would you compare Kashan Aitchison's game to Alexander Romanov a little bit with the physicality aspect?
I would. I mean, I've seen Romanov light people up, and I think the difference between those two is one, Aitchison obviously speaks English, which is perfect and great, but I do think Aitchison provides more offense. Now, Romanov has shown more of an offensive touch when he was with Montreal. There wasn't a defensive system with St. Louis, it's more just run and gun. And I think with Patrick Waugh, you saw it last year, is Romanov may have taken some steps back. I don't want to say taking steps back defensively. There were a lot of times where he was jumping up in the rush. He was below the dots. Now, I think the Islanders want him to be that defensive guy first, and Waugh made that clear. But I think Aitchison's a guy that could be a Romanov-esque guy where on your bottom pairing, lighting him up, but also 10 goals, racking up the assists. But being that leader on the blue line, I think it's so important, especially when you have a guy like Schaefer who's dynamic in all facets. Having a guy that maybe is not to that extent, but still has those tools to be a difference maker, like we said. For your forward lines, you want offense, speed, and skill, and that grittiness, hard-nosed guy up and down the lineup. If you have Romanov on a top pairing or Schaefer on the top pairing, and you have a guy like Aitchison who can play in the penalty kill, maybe on the power play down the line, be that solidifying guy in the blue line like a Scott Mayfield where picks his spots to hit, but could also provide offense, that just makes your team more dynamic.
I read on your article, I believe it was, about Aitchison that the director of scouting for the Islanders had said that he hadn't seen a guy hit like that, make open ice hits like that in 17 years of his scouting career. Is that the big factor into why they maybe picked him?
I think it's someone that's not someone that won't back down. I think hitting is really important. I think at a young age too. And now again, can he do that against 30-year-olds? Who knows? That's what you have to see. But I think it's the ability to be able to change the game without the score having to be on the score sheet. I think we all get caught up in stats, right? And I said that, listen, his stats are great. 26 goals, the way he's able to play, top playing minutes and things like that. But momentum changers. Romanov's one of those guys that the stat line's not going to stand out, but there's been games, look at the hit against Miles Wood a couple of years ago where he just crushed him. It changes the way the game is played going forward. Even on the forecheck is, you got to be nervous when you're going into a corner and he's coming at you. That allows, the other team might have to throw a puck away and turn the puck over. So if you see Aitchison coming to light you up and you have to get rid of the puck quick, maybe that's a turnover and now you score a goal. Aitchison's never going to get credit for that on the score sheet, but because he pinched or because he laid that big hit and it changed momentum for a game. I think that's what the Islanders are looking for, is guys that can change the game without having to be someone that, lights up a score sheet.
Looking between the pipes now, there's a few goaltenders there. Henrik Tikkanen, Burke Hood, and then, of course, Tristan Lennox. Lennox had, one period of NHL play last year. So between the three, I guess really outside of Lennox, between Tikkanen and Hood, who's looking like the better goaltender, if that's how I properly wanted to ask that question.
Yeah, I think Burke Hood has really impressed me. And I'll give you a little fun fact here because, and you would know this, Colton and Daeden, he plays in the OHL. He can't wear a cat eye. So he has the regular full shield. And I remember I'm a goalie as well. So I remember the first day I went from that to a cat eye, I was like, oh my God, I could see. Now, I give Burke a lot of credit because he looks really good right now. I would imagine just what would he look like if he could had the two eyes where he could just see everything so clearly. He's very technical. I think Burke Hood has been a guy that just obviously drafted. I didn't really know what to expect. Young kid. He looks great. I think Henrik Tikkanen at this point he's a really big goalie. He is 6'9". So on skates, he looks like he's 6. He looks like Chara on skates. And with bigger goalies, you get concerned about going up and down, 5-hole, making sure you're square because maybe it's a little harder to move over. I like Tikkanen's game a lot. I think he needs to be a little more confident in the way he plays. Is sometimes he gets caught a little too tall, and when you're too tall and you're not able to get set, you allow goals. But yeah, I think it's hard to tell in rookie camp. They're doing basic drills, but I like Burke Hood's game a lot. Like I said, I can't wait to see him with a cat eye where he could see everything really, really clearly.
Stefen, you said you're a goaltender. I kind of want to know this. A lot of goaltenders, they don't wear the neck piece, like the plastic neck guard. Are you a guy that wears the plastic neck guard?
So I would tell everyone you better wear one. I don't play a high level anymore. I don't wear it, but there's been close calls when I've gotten hit in the neck, and I said, yeah, I thank God I've had them shatter before. I think it's all feel, right? There's a lot of goalies now, especially with the advanced technology, where the bottom of their helmet kind of curves out a little more. And if you think about it, goalies should never be looking at the shooter's face. They should always be looking down at the puck. And so if you're looking down at the puck, in theory, unless it's deflection, it should never hit you in the neck because you're never looking up. If you're looking up and they make a move, you're in trouble. So I think that's kind of, you're that technically sound. You're never looking up. You're always looking down. So your neck's fine. But I would tell, like, if I see a young goalie not wearing it, I get terrified because you're not technically sound. There's times where you are looking up or you get caught sliding over and you're just exposing yourself. So it does scare me a lot. Also, wear a cup. I know some crazy goalies that don't wear cups. I had one game, actually, funny enough, 2 weeks ago. Don't tell my dad this. But 2 weeks ago where I left my girdle at home, like the cup piece, I had home and I said, uh-oh. So you just stuff it with a sock. But the whole game I was like, I know what's going to happen. I'm going to take a one-timer right there. Thankfully, I survived the game. But yeah, definitely if you have the dangler, which is what I call it, I don't know the exact term, I'd wear it. But also, sometimes it lags behind. Sometimes people like it longer. I think Varlamov wears one. Sorokin doesn't. So it's just a feel and preference. Same thing with tape and the butt end and things like that.
Goalie school with Stefen. This is good. This is good.
Yeah, this is the bonus content here.
Exactly. This is what the people want. Outside of the guys we've talked about, who else has impressed you?
I think Politan. He went first overall in the CHL import draft, and he's a guy that he's fast, he's skilled. It's curious to see how he develops, but he's a guy that has accolades. Second round pick by the Islanders. There's a lot of Romano. I'm not going to say he's Barzal-esque in the way he skates, but it's damn near close with his edge work. I'm just looking at the list here to obviously I'm focused on certain people. Marshall Warren looks very stable. He's a Long Island native, so it's been really cool for him to be part of this. He signed as an undrafted free agent last year. But Isaiah George, we haven't talked about. He had an NHL experience last year. He gained what feels like 15 to 20 pounds of muscle. And I think he learned at the NHL level that, he's got to be physical. So I've liked what I've seen from him. Just going down the list here, Jesse Nurmi is not at camp. He had a procedure on his knee. He's out 4 to 6 weeks, so we won't see him at all. Let's see here. Cam Thiesing. So he's a guy last year that impressed during preseason. He's impressing now. Really quick release from everywhere. He shoots to score, and he scored like that during preseason last year. Really surprised. I want to see a little bit more from Jesse Pulkkinen. This is a guy that, for a big guy, he's very mobile. I think he's a guy that could certainly be a player for this team. I want to see Calle Odelius step up a little bit more. This is his second camp. I want to see him take more of that leadership approach and just stand out like those other guys we mentioned. Now, again, defensemen take some more time. I know we mentioned Schaefer and George, probably outliers there. But yeah, it's been a fun camp because there's so much more talent now at these camps than maybe the last couple of years. And I know we're missing the college guys. And I think if you have the college guys here, it's a little bit different, but there's so much talent. So unless you're a guy like a Schaefer or a Shamanov, you got to get lost, not because you're not talentless, because everyone else is just, they're all good. No one's really, there's, which I wouldn't say here yet after just 2 games, like this guy's not good. I think we're going to have scrimmages tomorrow, Saturday. So we're going to be, people tomorrow will start to stand out outside of those guys that we mentioned. And then obviously we get the training camp and they cut the roster, but overall, I've been really impressed because for the longest time, the Islanders haven't had a prospect pool. And I'm not a huge person in ranking prospect pools and ranking prospects in general because you never know with these guys. And for the Islanders, they always got the short end of the stick. And I'm like, no, there's talent here. But now with it being fans opening and up, asking to see these guys at development camp and see some of these guys take strides even over these last 2 months, I'm really impressed. And Rocky Thompson, who's going to be the first-year head coach for Bridgeport, he's been running these camps and he's been really impressed. So I think it's a really cool thing for Islander fans and even for us to see, like, this is a prospect pool. There is talent, there is depth. And I mean, obviously, what are the likelihoods that most of these guys make the NHL? It's zero, but they're all going to push each other. For example, they're not going to get credit. Like, you look at a guy that, I don't know, I'm not going to pick a name here, but maybe he doesn't make the NHL, but there's a guy that's going to make the NHL because that guy that I didn't mention pushed that guy in one of these drills to be better than he was. Where you have guys that come to these camps that clearly are not prospects, not saying they're weighing them down, but no one's getting anything out of going against those guys. So I think it's really important that even when these guys don't make it, they probably play a huge part in someone else making it, if that makes sense.
It does for sure. And even that last little tidbit there about going against certain players, like we had the Blazers training camp and there were certain players of like certain age groups where I'm like, why are you on the ice with these guys? Like, you are levels ahead of these guys. This is not helping you whatsoever. And I can only imagine that it's the same case at the NHL level as well with these rookie camps.
And on the flip side, having a guy like Shabanov there, who's played professionally for years in the KHL, that makes everyone else rise to the occasion. You want to be the one that goes out there and stops Shabanov. You want to be the one that goes out there and beats Schaefer to the outside, avoids an Aitchison hit. Like, it's so connected. I think it really does. Is you are able to beat Schaefer. That says something more about you than it does about Schaefer. So I think it's really huge on both ends of the spectrum that everyone with this camp being so competitive has to rise to the occasion to showcase, I'm not just a middle level prospect. I can beat the guys that you think are first, the top prospects here. I could be part of that conversation. I think that's what everyone's striving to be right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Outside of Schaefer and George, and I'm forgetting one more guy that's Cal Ritchie, who do you see as getting called up to the NHL?
Yeah, so I think, I've been a real big fan of Matthew Maggio since, we first met him. It's something that I got to be close to in terms of the room and always talking to. And I think he's a player that every coach would love. He's got the speed. He's got the creativity. He's got the shot. He's a grinder. And I think he's one of those guys that leads by example. I wouldn't be shocked if he had a letter in Bridgeport this year. But I think that, he's been with the organization for 3 years. I think this is the year that if there's an injury, he could find a way to get, again, is he an NHLer? I'm not sure because there might be guys that are bigger. He's not a big dude, but the heart. And I think that's something that plays a huge part. He's a heart and soul kind of guy. He's a guy that Rocky Thompson's known since Rocky was a kid because Maggio's dad was I think, athletic trainer or some kind of coach, skills coach, athletic coach for Windsor when he was there. So he's got to know him and he trusts him to be that leader and mentor that he's been. But I think this Alex Jeffries is another guy. He's got all the offensive talent in the world. Can he provide that defensive game? Can he be one of those call-ups? You also have veterans like Julien Gauthier, Liam Foudy that are already there that might be the ones that get those call-ups as well. But now more than ever, there are options for call-ups that aren't just guys that never made it to the AHL. Because, listen, I'm not going to knock a Gauthier or a Foudy, but they had their cup of coffee in the NHL and they didn't stick. There are guys now here that are rookies or first-year Bridgeport guys, second-year Bridgeport guys. Now that can be those options rather than just I want to say recycle, but the guys that, didn't last, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. Preseason starts up in about a week or so. Do a number of these guys go to the preseason and play? Like, we'll see Schaefer, obviously, see the bigger name rookies.
Yeah. So again, this is new for us under Darch. He very values AHL, ECHL guys. So I don't know when he wants to cut it down under Lou. They cut the first day of training camp. Not every prospect's there. They can't have that many guys on the ice. So I'm interested to see, like, does a guy like Kashan Aitchison go right back to OHL after rookie camp?
Mm-hmm.
Or does he get an NHL game, preseason game? So it'll be interesting to see. But I think they're going to give these rookies a chance to prove it against NHL guys, and then quickly they'll be able to find out, okay, who's legit, who's not. But yeah, I think you might see more of the younger guys last a little longer than maybe in the past, for sure.
Okay. Stefen, my last one for you before we let you go. Mark Gatcomb, if I just pronounced that last name correct, was on our friend Johnny Lazarus' show, Morning Cup of Hockey. What can you kind of say about Gatcomb and just how he is as a defenseman for the Islanders?
So he's a forward. So
sorry, forward.
No, you're good. You're good. Just want to make sure it's right. He's awesome. He's an awesome kid. First off, he played over, I think, 107 AHL games, 6 ECHL games. went undrafted and got his chance and ran with it. And he's a guy that's going to fight for a spot this year. Very fast. He's a forechecking machine. He's kind of like Casey. He kind of like Casey Zizekas and Cal Clutterbuck in one player. He's going to hit everything. Okay. He's going to forecheck, but also he has offense. So he's able to score. And I think that for the Islanders, like we talked about, speed and skill up and on the lineup, I think Islander fans and even the Islanders got so accustomed to the MC squared line, the identity line with Matt Martin, Casey, Cal Clutterbuck, having to be that line where offense wasn't a thing. It was forecheck, be physical, and be a pain in the butt for the other, shutting down really the opposition's best guys. Having a guy like Gakholm to skate with a Zizekas or skate with a Pajot, like it changes everything with the way you're able to run and match up and play your game. So I think Gakholm coming back as an RFA, he didn't take the qualifying offer. I think he took a little more to make it a one-way deal. He's going to be a piece that's going to push for a roster spot. So he's been great. He's not really outspoken in the room yet. I think, you have to kind of work your way when you're new to the NHL, but he's a guy that could play in the NHL. He proved that. He proved that the teams that he was on before then with Vancouver and their AHL team, that he can be a guy that can be relied upon. And now it's up to him in year 2. Can he continue that? Because we saw Kyle McLean not take a step back, but not be that guy. We saw Hudson Fashion a couple years ago be that guy and struggle due injuries. Can Gakholm be the guy that is consistent throughout a full season? So we'll see if he makes the team. I think he will. We'll see if he gets a spot in the starting lineup. That's up for debate right now, but great kid, great guy on the ice, very talented. So I'm looking forward to seeing what he does in year 2.
Last one for me, Stefen. We had a little bit of goalie discussion. We have a question in the chat. Willie wants to know your favorite goalie pads and mask all time, if you have one.
Ooh, favorite goalie. That's a hard question. I think I'm a simple guy.
Okay.
The white pads, I don't love too much. I'm a big guy when, the helmets. I love to see I get to see Sorokin all the time. He had a helmet that was really cool. It was all the old Islanders, the Butch Gorings, the Trotties. That was really cool. I'm a Warrior guy. I've used the Warrior Swagger stick. I won't use another stick if we're being completely honest. It's a little heavier, but my biggest thing when I was younger was like my stick would always be to the side. I allow a lot of 5-hole goals. So my dad's like, all right, we're giving you a heavier stick. So I got the Warrior Swagger. I think the first one I got was Ray Emery, but now I use the Jonathan Quick guy. He was my idol growing up. Loved Quick. I know he's a Vaughn guy, but yeah, I'm a big Warrior guy. Now at this, goaltending stuff is so expensive, but yeah, definitely a Warrior guy through and through. I'm pretty religious with that kind of stuff.
Well, Stefen, you were a late pickup for us today, and we thank you for that. Why don't you tell everyone where you can find or where they can find your work, I guess, for the next couple of weeks going forward?
Yeah, on X, I'm there 24/7 at Stefen_Rosner, STEFEN_ROSNER. NHL.com, cover Islanders there, the Hockey News Islander site, and I have my Substack at theelmonters.com, TheElmonters.com. That's exclusive stuff. Subscription Monday through Friday. I have free Fridays. Every Friday, I had 2 pieces today, and you can catch that Aitchison one-on-one tomorrow morning at the Hockey News.
Sweet, Stefen. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate having me on. I'll talk to you guys soon.
For sure.
Awesome. Sounds good.
Well, Colton, some great stuff from Stefen. A little bit of insight into what's going on in Long Island. Lots of Matthew Schaefer. High expectations, but he's lived up to it, I guess you could say, by what Stefen has said.
Oh, absolutely. I'm excited to see Schaefer, excited to see his first preseason game and obviously his first NHL game, but I'm looking forward to it, man.
Yeah, definitely. We'll be right back with a few more things, and we'll be back to wrap up the show after this word from DraftKings.
Game on. Week 2 starts now, and every touchdown brings you closer to a payout with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. This isn't just live football. It's first touchdown fireworks, anytime TD rushes, and live bets that ride every momentum shift. At DraftKings, every play is your next shot to win. This week on DraftKings Sportsbook app, you can find lines such as the Buffalo Bills at -305 to beat the New York Jets and more. Lines and odds are subject to change. New customers, this one's for you. You can bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets instantly. Plus, grab over $200 off NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. Your season starts now. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code THPN. That's code THPN to get $300 in bonus bets instantly when you place your first bet of $5 or more. Plus, over $200 off NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, fees may apply in Illinois. 21 and over. Age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. See sportsbook.draftkings.com/promos. NFL Sunday ticket offer for new subscribers only and auto renews until canceled. Digital games and commercial use excluded. Restrictions apply. Additional NFL Sunday ticket terms at youtube.com/go/NFL Sunday ticket/terms. Limited time offer.
Colton, Marc-Andre Fleury signed a PTO with the Penguins? What's going on there?
Well,
why would you do such a thing?
From what I gather, it might not just be a one-day contract. It might be like I'm a little bit confused. Is he coming back to play? Like, can somebody in the chat tell us what's going on here? Like, well, I'm wondering if this whole he retired, right? Like, what are we doing here? Is this him coming back? If he is coming back and playing a full season, hats off to him. That's fucking awesome. But what was the point of the whole retirement bonanza that we did there? Like, what was the point of the tour? Like, okay, Willie says in the chat he wants to retire as a Penguin, and I get that. So, but like, is he signed a PTO? Is he gonna play preseason games and then play NHL games? Like, what's gonna happen here? That's
most of the time when people come to sign, like take Carey Price for example, when he eventually retires, yes, most Habs fans are hoping that he signs a one-day contract with the team and just retires as a Hab. That's what I kind of expected was going on here, but now it's saying Marc-Andre Fleury has signed a PTO with the Penguins and will play a home preseason game on September 27th, one final dance in Pittsburgh for Flower. So that wording makes it seem like he's coming back for one game.
Yeah. Okay. We'll have to see. What happens.
I don't know. Why do it in a preseason game that doesn't mean much? You know what I mean? I know it's because if he loses, then it doesn't go towards a record, but like.
True. That's true, though. I don't know, man.
Even like the home opener with Flower skating out of the tunnel would be so much better than a preseason game with Flower skating out of the tunnel. You know what I mean?
What about next year when Pittsburgh has Gavin McKenna? Hey, what about that?
I don't know. Are they gonna?
No, they won't.
Who else is like extremely bad this year?
San Jose, Chicago, Buffalo.
I think Chicago's going to be worse than San Jose. They have a better path to rebuilding, and I think their path starts sooner than Chicago's does.
If Chicago was smart, if Chicago was smart, they would absolutely just shit the bed this year and get McKenna. Or get Verhoff. But you go get McKenna.
I think McKenna and guard up front would be deadly.
That's what I'm trying to say. I'm saying if they got like pick 2 or pick 3, then you just get Verhoff, I guess. But if they got pick 1, Gavin McKenna, Connor Bedard, there's your 1-2 punch forever because you missed out on it when you should have taken Ivan Demidov. But you took Artem Levshinov instead.
There's definitely a couple things that could go on, but there's another thing in Chicago that I wanted to talk about. Connor Bedard was at prospects camp, or not prospects camp, but he was on the ice in Chicago, and our friend Anthony Donati, the prospect Don, got to talk and talk to some guys around Chicago, talk about Bedard's off season. He's been training with a lot of guys from like outside of the team, like some other NHLers that obviously aren't with the Blackhawks. So he's been training with some guys that he probably hasn't played with before, and it's probably helping him a little bit. I've seen the clips that Anthony's been posting, and man, does he look fast. That's one thing that people were kind of saying he lacks was speed.
He lacks explosiveness.
But the clip, I'll go tell everyone right now, I don't have the clip, but go look up Anthony Donati, the prospect on X, and he's been posting everything you need to see from Connor Bedard. I would definitely advise you to go give him a follow.
If producer Day was
on the ball,
we would have the clip, but we don't. It's our first podcast back together in like 2 weeks, so bear with us.
Slowly getting back here, fellas.
Slowly getting back. Got a big week next week. We're very excited to bring on some guests next week. I will preview one guest for you guys right now, just because it is for sure happening. But next Monday, we are interviewing CHL President Dan McKenzie. But that interview will drop Tuesday, so it won't drop Monday. But Tuesday, CHL President Dan McKenzie is joining us. Going to be awesome to chat with him. We've had the USHL Commissioner Glenn Hefferon on, so it'll be nice to get the CHL side of things and talk to Mr. McKenzie about all of that. Yeah, I don't know. Back to your Chicago thing for a second. If Bedard actually is like explosive now in his speed, and there's some like. Is this the year he breaks out then, finally?
I don't know if this is the year he breaks out, but this could be the year that he sheds some of the hate from his back. You know what I mean? Like, there's lots of people that still look at Connor Bedard and say, like, he's not what he was supposed to be. But I still think, like, people don't take into account that he's on a Chicago team that doesn't give him much support at all, if any.
Yeah. No, he doesn't have the same players around him that a guy like Macklin Celebrini does, or a guy that Michael Misa is going to this year as well, right?
Well, I think the difference is look at Macklin Celebrini and look at Will Smith. These kids are like literally best friends. I know Connor Bedard has like a different character. Like, he has a different personality where he's kind of more to himself and he's not like as outgoing as those two are, like the sleepover with Tyler Toffoli type stuff, but. But like you see them and they have fun together and they're out on the ice and they're connecting. They're using that brotherly friendship out on the ice. They know where they're going to be at all times. Like those two can connect and
camaraderie.
Yes, exactly. But Connor Bedard doesn't really. I don't know what goes on, but I don't think Connor Bedard has a connection like that in Chicago. Find someone that's a little bit younger that's able to connect with Bedard and bring him in, slap him on his wing.
Oh, I know just the guy, his cousin, Gavin McKenna.
Yes. Good job.
Incredible. Honestly, though, I think that's another like aspect of the thing of it as well. It's just like it seems like Will Smith. It seems like Macklin Celebrini and Will Smith are having fun, and Connor Bedard is not. But hey, who am I to talk about Connor Bedard? I mean, I'm just a podcast host. I don't know what's going on there, but. Everybody should go follow the prospect on because he's got some amazing coverage out there, and he's going to be covering the rookie tournament that's going on in Virginia as well, or Michigan, or wherever the hell it is this weekend.
Yeah, the rookie showcase.
Yeah, the rookie showcase. He was texting me about it, so that's awesome. One more thing on the bill here.
Two. I've added one thing to the docket. It's just in my head. Okay. I didn't actually put it on the docket.
The Hershey Bears. Bear using the button.
No, I didn't do anything, buddy. I didn't do a single thing because the Hershey Bears did it all.
Yeah, that's incredible. The
it's
screaming
amazing.
bear.
It's like
Hershey's that's so creative. I fucking love that.
I think that hot take. This might be better than the original Screaming Eagle jersey.
No.
Maybe. What?
No, doesn't beat the original, but it is sick.
Look at the colorway though. That brown and beige, and I think it's sick. The Bears in the, I think that it's nice.
No, it's pretty sick. Honestly, I love it.
Now Washington should make a copy or something of this jersey and run with it because their home and away jerseys right now are kind of not it at all.
If they brought back the Screaming Eagle full time, I would be very excited.
Yeah, throwback to Ovi's first goal.
Oh, the first goal, but throwback to the fucking
not first goal. Yeah,
the Phoenix one. Yeah, I said the Wayne Gretzky goal, but that was only because Wayne Gretzky was on the bench. I don't know why I said that. Either way, hell of a goal, man. That Ovi goal goes down in history.
All right, there's one more thing that I wanted to bring
All
up.
right.
And
All right.
so I picked up NHL 26, right?
Oh, brother.
And it's not the gameplay type of stuff that I have that I want to butt heads with here. It's the technicalities, okay? It's the technicalities. First off, I went in to be a pro because that's the thing that everyone's kind of like harping on. It's be a pro, be a pro. So I went in to be a pro, and I started off, and it says World Juniors. You start in the semifinals in an elimination game. The semifinals is not an elimination like game in the World Juniors.
What country did you pick?
Canada.
Okay.
What do you mean?
I don't know. I thought maybe you'd pick like Germany or something fun.
You thinking I went to like the relegation round or something with Germany?
Yeah.
Like, no,
Yeah.
no. But anyways,
Okay.
that was the first thing. Second, the tournament. They're using the rosters from this past year, and the tournament was in Ottawa, right? North American soil, but they're still using big ice.
Oh, yeah.
I think they should. I think for each game they should use the. I know this is probably the first year they're doing it, but it's in Ottawa. You want to make it as real as it is. Put it at TD Place and put it at Canadian Tire Center. And then the third technicality that I have a problem with, it's not that big of a deal. But if you're a jersey guy or a numbers guy like me, I like to look into these things. And Hockey Canada actually doesn't allow players to have numbers over 29 on their jerseys. Goalies are allowed. No, it's Hockey Canada, and then goalies are allowed to wear 1, 30, or 31 for Hockey Canada. I believe possibly 33, but I don't think so. I think it's just 30, 30, and 1, 30, and 31. But now I looked into players. The players are supposed to go from 1 to 27 or 29. It's not supposed to go higher than that. Matthew Schaefer was out there wearing 77. I looked at that and I was like, no, it's not right. See, it's not a big deal, but it's just one of these things. But in my head, it's just like, come on, fellas, be good.
It's the little things that count. Like,
yeah, exactly.
That I don't know. That would piss me off too. I haven't bought NHL 26 yet. I can't even say that how I'm obtaining it, but I'm getting NHL 26, and I'm not even excited to play it, man. I'll be brutally honest. Not excited.
As long as you play me and let me kick your ass.
Yeah, we'll do that. We'll do that for a Patreon video or something. You can kill me in this game. Speaking of killing, my fantasy team in football is taking an absolute fucking beating, and I know not a lot of people care, but I just had to say that. I took Xavier Worthy, he got injured last week. I took Brock Bowers, he got injured. I took Jaden Reed yesterday. He got injured first fucking play of the game last night. So I'm fucked right now. I don't know what to do. But hey, shout out DraftKings and shout out everybody else, man. But fantasy football is not for me. We're gonna do a fantasy hockey thing, I think. And I was actually thinking about trying to get some of the chat involved in some of that. I think that'd be fun. Trying to get Willie involved, get some of the other guys, get Stefan, get Johnny Lazarus in it. Like do a little one. If anybody has any interest, DM me on Twitter or hit us up on Twitter as well. Well, I think that'd be fun to get like 32 people and do a league.
Yeah. Okay. Actually, yeah. DM us on Twitter at Game Day Tarps if you think you'd be into a fantasy hockey. I know most people are probably in a couple leagues already, but if you want to join another league, why don't we get one cooking?
We still got a month till the season kind of kicks off, but I think that'd be fun. We can do a GDT one. I'll reach out to the Empty Netters guys. I'll reach out to some of the friends of the show, see who wants to join. But we'll hold some spots open for chat. Anybody from the chat that wants to join, just hit us up on Twitter.
Sounds good. Randy can put in an All Flames team.
Oh God. Well, he might get last, but that's okay.
Yeah, he definitely would. But yeah, way she goes. Anything else you wanted to touch on today? What's that?
No, I said I agreed with you. That's just the way she goes.
Oh, yeah. Is there anything else you wanted to touch on today, Colton, before we end this beautiful Friday off?
No, I think we're good. Blazers game tonight, preseason game again. Play Prince George. not that exciting. Nathan Bame's gone. He's gone to Chicago camp. Tommy Lafreniere's gone to the Edmonton. Ivans Kaftarins has gone to Utah. Harrison Brunick's in Pittsburgh. So all the top dogs are not playing. JP Hurlburt will play, though. So 2026 top prospect. So that'll be a good one. But yeah, what's up?
Are you allowed to leak or let us know what's going on? That thing you showed me before, or is that kind of?
Yeah, I could probably touch a little bit on it. We got a new thing starting up over on the Kamloops Blazers website. As everybody knows, I mention this pretty much every day on the show, but I write for them, so I'm their team reporter. But they like what we do over here on Game Day Tarps and our live show and stuff. And I think we're gonna start up our own Kamloops Blazers style podcast where we talk to alumni players, and I'll be the host of it. So that's just another thing that you guys can go find me on. I'll obviously tweet out all the details when this kind of stuff drops, but we're still a few weeks away from even having this kind of set up. But yeah, a fun little project in the works with the Kamloops Blazers. And I think it'll really open the doors for even this show for us and get some guys on. I think it'll be awesome.
Yeah, definitely. If they give you shit for that, just blame it on me 100%.
Yeah, of course I will. Blame it on Daeden, producer.
Yeah. Sounds good. Yeah, fellas, I guess that's kind of it. If you guys are into some boxing, I'll be producing a boxing show live on the Mayo Media Network. That's what I do. When I'm not here, I'm at the Mayo Media Network up in Halifax. So if you're into boxing, go tune into that on the YouTube, 5:30 East or 5:30 Atlantic time, 4:30 Eastern. But other than that, Colton, you and I will be back Monday.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Monday, 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern time, right back here on GDT Live. What's going on, everyone? Thank you for tuning into another video over here on the Game Day Tarps podcast and the Hockey Podcast Network. We've got so much more where this came from, so smash the like button, subscribe, and don't forget to hit the bell, turn the notifications on so you never miss a beat. For myself and the rest of the guys over at Game Day Tarps, we thank you, and we'll see you next time.